This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, paradise turns into peril. Love triangles catch fire in Italy, and long buried secrets are on the verge of exploding. From a shocking proposal on the coast of Capri to a life threatening rescue that reignites a forbidden passion, and the sinister unraveling of Grace's lies, it's all coming together in one jaw-dropping, sun-soaked week you can't afford to miss. Let's break down every twist, betrayal, and bombshell right now. At the heart of this week's whirlwind drama is none other than Brooke Logan. After enduring years of heartbreak, reconciliations, and emotional tug-of-war with Ridge Forrester, Brooke may finally be facing a turning point. Just not in the way fans expected. While many assumed that if another engagement ring was in her future, it would come from Ridge, fate seems to have other plans. And his name is Nick Marone. Nick's return has been anything but subtle. He's stepping back into Brooke's life with a clear purpose and a renewed sense of passion. The scenic beauty of Capri becomes the backdrop for his romantic offensive. From elegant dinners under the stars to breezy boat rides filled with laughter and nostalgia, Nick is determined to remind Brooke of what they once shared and what they still could have. But this isn't just about memories. Nick has brought a ring with him, an engagement ring, and he fully intends to propose. This sets the stage for what could be a life-altering moment. Picture it, Nick down on one knee, offering Brooke not just a symbol of love, but a promise of peace, a future free of Ridge's endless indecision. However, this is the bold and the beautiful, and no major declaration of love ever goes unchallenged. Unbeknownst to Nick, Ridge is not far away. His jealousy is simmering beneath the surface, and as he watches the scene unfold from a distance, fate intervenes in a dramatic way. When Brooke faces sudden danger during a boating accident, Ridge doesn't think twice. He dives into the water to save her. In that harrowing moment, as he pulls her into his arms, all his defenses crumble. For Ridge, this isn't just about saving Brooke's life. It's about confronting the truth he's been running from. He can no longer deny the feelings that still tie him to her. And for Nick, his picture-perfect proposal may be on the verge of unraveling before it even begins.
What follows Ridge's heroic rescue is more than just a physical save. It's the spark that reignites a long-suppressed fire. The emotional aftermath hits all three key players with brutal intensity. Brooke finds herself torn between two drastically different futures. On one hand, she has Nick, steady, reliable, and genuinely committed to giving her the kind of calm love she's never truly had. On the other, there's Ridge, a man who's broken her heart more times than she can count, but whose passion is impossible to walk away from. Ridge, for his part, is no longer pretending. That impulsive dive into the ocean didn't just rescue Brooke from danger, it symbolized how deeply embedded she still is in his soul. He can try to honor his commitments, he can try to keep Taylor in his life, but his heart betrays him every time Brooke is near. And then there's Taylor Hayes. She believed, again, that Ridge had chosen her. She dared to hope that the wounds of the past had finally healed. But now, standing at the edge of yet another romantic collapse, Taylor is devastated. She may wear a composed mask, but behind her calm facade is a woman reliving the same pain that's haunted her for decades. Taylor knows Ridge's heart better than he does himself. She sees the way he looks at Brooke. She feels it in every hesitation, in every unspoken word. And deep down, she knows what's coming. Whether she chooses to walk away with dignity or fight one last time for the man she's loved so fiercely, that remains to be seen. While the drama unfolds under the Italian sun, back in Los Angeles, Hope Logan is facing battles of her own, and this one is quietly eating her from the inside out. The unexpected return of Daphne Rose has stirred emotions Hope thought she had under control. At first, Daphne's reappearance seemed harmless, cordial reunions, polite smiles, and nothing more. But the energy has shifted. Hope begins to notice subtle yet unmistakable signs of growing intimacy between Daphne and Carter Walton. Whether it's the way they laugh a little too long, the casual but lingering glances, or the unspoken ease in their conversation, something is undeniably brewing. And Hope, who has always struggled with trust, finds herself spiraling into a sea of suspicion and jealousy. The timing couldn't be worse. Hope's own relationships have been in turmoil, and she's barely started to rebuild her emotional foundation. Watching Carter, one of the few constants in her life, form a connection with Daphne triggers every insecurity she's tried to bury. Is she being paranoid? Or is history repeating itself, with another woman stepping into her space just as she lets her guard down? The Daphne-Carter dynamic may be innocent, or it may be the beginning of something far more complicated. One thing is certain: Hope is about to find herself pulled into a psychological tug-of-war, one that could leave her more alone than ever before. The walls are closing in around Grace Buckingham, and this time, there may be no escape. For months, Grace has danced on the edge of deception, weaving a narrative so convincing that even some of the most discerning minds in Los Angeles fell for it. But behind her medical credentials and calm demeanor lies a web of manipulation, and that web is starting to unravel. It began with what seemed like genuine concern for Liam Spencer. Grace insisted on taking charge of his medical case, raising eyebrows but managing to deflect suspicion. Then came the shocking diagnosis, a brain tumor. It sent shockwaves through the Spencer family and plunged Liam into emotional turmoil. But that diagnosis wasn't just inaccurate, it was fabricated. Grace had no proof, no scans, no clinical backup. All she had was a plan and a dangerously convincing way of delivering it. Things escalated when she leveraged Liam's supposed condition to extort Bill Spencer, convincing him to hand over a staggering $1 million for an urgent, life-saving procedure. In reality, there was no surgery, no risk, no tumor, only a performance, and Bill, desperate to save his son, walked straight into her trap. Now, with Bridget Forrester rechecking Liam's records and Dr. John Finn Finnegan quietly following the inconsistencies, the truth is starting to surface. Test results don't align. Clinical notes are missing, and Grace's explanations are growing thinner by the day. Finn, a man who believes fiercely in ethics and truth, has reached his limit. He's no longer willing to protect Grace from scrutiny, not when Liam's life and Bill's trust were used as tools in her con. The question that remains is not whether Grace is guilty. It's what she'll do now that she's cornered. Will she face the consequences and allow justice to take its course? Or will she do what she's always done? Run, manipulate, and try to stay one step ahead of the fallout? One thing is clear. The truth is no longer buried, and Grace's days of deception are coming to an end. As this unforgettable week unfolds across glamorous coastlines and shadowy corridors, every character is being pushed to a breaking point. The Bold and the Beautiful is firing on all cylinders, delivering emotional punches, romantic chaos, and long-awaited confrontations that will redefine everything. Brooke Logan, caught between her past and her possible future, will have to decide whether to embrace Nick's promise of devotion or surrender once again to the irresistible pull of Ridge. Meanwhile, Ridge Forrester finds himself torn apart by the very feelings he tried to bury. Watching Brooke nearly slip through his fingers might be the wake-up call he never wanted but desperately needed. Taylor, once again standing on the sidelines of a love she can't win, must decide whether she will fight for Ridge one last time or finally walk away from a man who always chooses someone else. And then there's Hope, whose emotional stability is crumbling as she watches Daphne Rose and Carter Walton grow closer by the day. Jealousy, doubt, and fear begin to consume her as she wonders whether her place in Carter's life is slowly being erased. And in the darkest corner of this week's drama, Grace Buckingham stands exposed. Her lies have caught up with her, and now the very people she tried to outsmart are holding the power to destroy her. The next step could lead her into handcuffs or into hiding. Either way, the fallout will be massive. So, what happens next? Will Brooke choose love or loyalty? Will Ridge follow his heart or honor his promises? Will Hope confront the woman who threatens her place? And will Grace finally pay the price for betraying the trust of the Spencer family? These aren't just storylines. These are emotional detonations ready to erupt. And as the Bold and the Beautiful pushes forward, it's clear. The reckoning is here. Don't blink, don't look away, because next week the aftershocks begin.